Hello and welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel. My name is Harsh Singh and in this video we shall discuss the feature news for today, that is on modernization of Indian Armed Forces. Before we begin, a quick look at the people who are present. Welcome to all the people who are present here, but no wishes, no good evenings. Oh yes, there are. I am not able to receive. Hi Netra, hi Amlan. Good evening Ashish, hi Kriti, hi Swajal. Good evening to everybody else who are in this video and who are the people who are going to watch later. Good evening to you as well. If there, in case there are any questions, doubts or clarifications, suggestions, please put that in the comment section. So let's begin the conversation. And before we begin that, there were two good questions that were asked from some of you in the last video. One was, what is the theme of United Nations Human Rights Day? Friends, it is equality. Equality, EQUALITY. Equality is the theme for human rights celebrations for this year 2021. Another question that was asked was, India is funding the dredging project in Bangladesh. What is the significance? India is funding 80% of the some of the dredging projects in Bangladesh. Why is it happening? See, if we fund these projects in Bangladesh, so this is how it looks like in the northeast, right? So Bangladesh is right here, and then we have northeast states here, and this is the chicken's neck, right? Chicken's neck, and we have Bangladesh here. This is the only transit route to northeast India. In case we fund these dredging projects in Bangladesh, they will also somehow help in navigation from Kolkata or from this part of east part of India to northeast India. It will also aid, alternate forms of communication. This is one. Other reason is it will help India to transport products from, Bangladesh ports also. For example, Chittagong port, it will help us to transport products from here also if we help Bangladesh in their inland navigation. Two important reasons here. Another reason is somehow it is a welfare method as well. You can look at it from the perspective of building good relations with our neighbors. Now, there is another ethical perspective that some of you might think of. Another good question. That question is, hi Supriya, good evening Preeti, good evening to you, both of you. Now, there is another good perspective you can look at right here. That is the perspective of, a dimension if India should be funding these projects inside India only or outside India. So this is where your ethical dilemma will come into play, and this becomes an ethical case study in that case, right? So these are two questions, and we have some alternatives to understand them. Getting on to the feature news for today, which is on modernization of Indian Armed Forces, a very important theme, especially in focus because of the sudden demise of CDS. We should understand that India is one of the largest. India has one of the largest armed forces in the world. After China, India has got the maximum manpower in the world, around 14 lakh persons serving in the different forces. China has around 21 lakh. China has got 21 lakh, and then India, and after that is USA with around 14 lakhs next to it. So India is second to China in the personnel. India is also the third largest defense spender after USA, after China, and then after that comes India, right? Also, the difference is huge. India spends around 60 billion, China 200 plus billion, America 700 billion military capacities. So India is amongst the largest spenders, largest human resources, and India is also amongst the countries which has the largest of imports. So Saudi Arabia, and then we have India. See, so when India is spending so much in military, modernizing military, when India is having so much of budget for military, and India has got such huge personnel, imports as well, should we not get into modernization? Yes, we must. So these kind of data are very, very critical, very important, especially in the present context that I mentioned because of that accident. Now, these are the kind of questions that will be asked now. We have covered one article on the modernization of armed forces that deals with the inter-armed forces, right? So we will come to that part as well, that deals with the CDS. We will come to that part also as far as modernization is concerned. So in this context, India must modernize its defense forces, but this rapid modernization is hindered by many things. One of the important things is the presence of the manned personnel. Since there is huge manned personnel, the defense budget allocation, one is capital expenditure and the other one is revenue expenditure. Huge amount of money goes in salaries in pensions and yearly maintenance, and therefore the capital outlay, the capital budget gets reduced because of the huge manpower. This is one issue. Another issue is that of indigenization. We do not have the indigenous technologies to build various equipments, gadgets, devices, advanced mechanics or electronics in our country. We have studied that previously, that the modern warfare may not be the one based on traditional warfare. One good example of this is if you have watched the movie called as Top Gun, 1986 Top Gun of Tom Cruise. There would be dog fights between two fighter planes. One would be ahead and the other one behind. So these kind of traditional warfare would not be the way to go in the coming times. There will be warfare where our digital systems will be hacked, nuclear devices will be hacked. There will be crisis of water. We just few days back in this week itself studied weaponization of trade by China, right? So these are the kind of new warfare that we are looking at, and in this technology India is lagging. One simple of it is the quantum technology that we were studying few days back this week itself on China's, India's and US's development. India is not as good in quantum mechanics, quantum physics, and therefore China will keep exporting that kind of electronics to India, which will have privacy issues in India, which will have autonomy issues. China will be able to decrypt anything that we encrypt. See that? So we are lagging in many ways as far as indigenization of technology or creation of new technology is concerned. On the other hand, we've also got some confused priorities. For example, our outlay, our defense budget that is given to Indian Navy is 14% of the total defense budget, right? On the other hand, there is increased presence of China in the outskirts. We are focusing at Himalayas only, and trying to prevent China's incursion in those areas. We should keep spending more in the defense outlay, especially related to Navy, right? So there are quite a few reasons because of which the pace of modernization in India has not accelerated, right? So let us understand the need for the modernization before anything. See, India is surrounded by two neighbors who are not very, very friendly to us, right? Not very friendly is an euphemism, but yes, Pakistan and China. India might face two-front war in the worst possible scenario, and therefore India needs to prepare itself with updated technology. While China has got the maximum amount of physical manpower, China's automation levels are also far higher, right? But we have got more manpower only, on which we have to keep on investing every year and year. This is another thing. Now, India also needs to maintain strategic autonomy, right? So that India can choose the kind of weaponry it wants inside the territory, right? India need not get into USA and Russia debate of if S4 has to be purchased, S400, or if the other American missiles have to be purchased, right? So these are the reasons because of which we need modernization. We do not have to deal with USA or Russia if we build our own Prithvi air defense. We have an Prithvi air defense, just that it is not as advanced as S400. We have got Prithvi air defense and Israeli aided as advanced air defense, right? So reducing of imports. India is currently the second largest exporter after Saudi Arabia. If you look at the defense imports, this will decrease. If imports decrease, we will have indigenous production, and this will increase the talent base, the market base, the sales base. If we produce indigenously, we will be able to sell it, just like we are selling BrahMos around the world, right? So this will reduce imports and increase manufacturing in India, increase jobs in India. Not only that, the changing nature of conflicts. See, new conflicts will be cyber, nuclear, energy security related, drug trafficking, radicalization of people, youth, terrorism, piracy, natural disasters, migration, environmental, territorial, right? We are not talking of the conventional war where men are fighting, the physical combat, right? The close combat. So in these kind of new nature of conflict, we need new kind of technologies. We need to modernize our, weaponry and armed forces. One very simple example of this is the use of drones now. So when we are trying to counter drones, what have we done? We have increased the scope of BSF activities up to 50 kilometers from the border. This is what we have done. But along with that, if we enable creation of those radars which detect these smaller drones, it will be far more effective. Here we are only empowering BSF, but in that case, we will have radars which will detect the crossover of these drones across the border. Not only that, if we are looking at man fencing of the borders, there are various places between India and Pakistan which are not fenced along LOC. But if we have robots conducting surveillance instead of humans doing that, is that not saving on the finances for the future? Is that not modernization? Yes, it is. But that's where we are lacking. That is why we have associations with countries like Israel, which also face similar threats. So we try to take these kind of bots, these kinds of automated mechanisms through which we could survey, we could have surveillance or recce conducted along the border, right? Changing nature of conflict. See, these are the keywords. Reducing imports, changing the nature of conflict, two-front war, strategic autonomy, not to get into alignment, we should be non-aligned. And global aspirations, of course, we also want to become a leader, right? Currently, just in the last report, just now we studied that India has a meager share of around 1.5%, even less than this, around 1.2% in the global trade of arms. Why is it this much? Why is America at 53% and then we have China? India can also do this, provided India indigenizes these technologies. India is doing that. India has started this, but we are quite distant from it, right? What are the challenges? See, rising manpower cost, right? This is the keyword for you. So the second largest army, and we have to spend more on the pension budget. Simple. This is your example. That's it. Nothing else. So you have the keyword and you have example. Keyword, and to prove that you have example. This is what you will take from the feature news. All of them. What will you take? You all know that, but I want to remind you every time so that your time gets utilized in the most effective manner. You do not have to write so many things while you prepare short notes. Short notes, remember that, short notes. So pick up case studies or examples, pick up analysis, something that is strikingly different. Pick up these keywords and pick up something more. What is that? Data points. Remember, I spoke of three important data in the beginning. India being one of the largest importers, one of the largest countries financing defense budgets, and one of the countries with largest manpower. See, this is the data, right? Lack of indigenous defense manufacturing. See, we have been trying to create LCA Tejas. Good example of this ever since, right? So more than 2.5 decades have been spent creating the core engine, Kabini engine of LCA, Light Combat Aircraft Tejas, and we have still not been successful. We had to import the core engine, Kabini engine of LCA Tejas from France. So see, when we encounter these issues, that means we are actually challenged at some of the core levels. Engine is the most important functional device in any aircraft, and our indigenous engine is not powerful enough for it to, for having LCA Tejas takeoff. So this is what is called as lack of indigenous defense manufacturing, right? Now we have got two different circuits, one in Tamil Nadu and the other one in UP. They are trying to manufacture a defense in India itself, right? We have a poor civil military coordination. This is one part of modernization. Relate it to what happened in Nagaland. I have presented this to you, right? You should start relating these things now. In Nagaland, the civil administration was not informed before the military operation, Armed Forces Special Powers Act operation, right? This is a good example. Non-integration of service headquarters, right? This is the point where we are talking of CDS, right? And the integration of armed forces, jointness of operations, right? Integrated theater command, that is the keyword. So integrated theater command, just type command Edukemy or integrated theater, you will get the feature news, complete news around integrated theater command, a job which was half done by General V.K. Singh, not V.K. Singh, what's his name? So job half done by the general who just passed away as the CDS, and that job needs to be completed. Now we are talking of the Central Theatre Command. So what is their prime agenda? The prime agenda is to ensure that Army, Navy, Air Force, they all act in an integrated manner as far as their training is concerned, as far as their logistics, transportation, as far as their supplies is concerned, the strategizing of war and creation of specific command for specific activities. So for northern area, we should have one command. For marine area, we should have a command. For air command, we have to have centralized authority. Not that in air command, the Navy and Army will not participate. They also will. Similarly, there should be commands for, so there are 5 commands that are being proposed. Among them is the Naval Command and the Air Command. Along with that, 3 commands in the north, east, and west. Now, along with that, there will be 2 different commands, but all of them will have operations, all these integrated operations. So this is the kind of integration we are talking of, which Pakistan also has, right? Pakistan has this kind of integration between its 3 armed forces. China has it, America has it. India is yet to take that step. And this is where CDS was involved, right? So what are the steps government has taken right now? Government has taken steps, for example, supporting these startups, incubation hubs for these startups, right? Government has said that it will be spending $130 billion in 5 to 7 years to modernize its armed forces. Its budget is around $60 billion. It will be spending this much to modernize the armed forces. This budget does not mean the complete amount goes here. There are various expenditures, as I mentioned, personal, pension, maintenance of the devices, equipment, and then comes purchasal, right? So these are some of the steps, right? And you should also know some of them. For example, modernization fund for defense and internal security. These are the kind of funds we are doing. We are also trying to ensure ways in which we indigenize manufacturing, or through jointness of operations with Indian groups and the groups abroad. They participate, manufacture in India, increase the investment in India, along with that increase the jobs in the country, right? So this is what has been targeted for the country. This is where Chief of Defense Staff was involved, right? New Department of Military Affairs was created to assist the Defense Ministry in military matters, right? CDS had to do this. Theatre commands had to be formed. Do refer to that theatre command, Edukemy feature news as well. Just type theatre command Edukemy on Google, you will find it. We also have the YouTube video here on this, so you should look at that particular thing here. So modernization is the key forward for the future, right? And yes, Bipin Rawat, General Bipin Rawat, thank you guys for naming him, right? So Amlan says it may be prone to military coup, right? So this is the kind of issue that we are facing, and amidst that we still need to modernize, right? So what we studied here, let me encircle this. In military modernization in India, we understood what is the significance of military modernization for India. Firstly, India being highest importer, amongst the highest importers, among the major personnel in India. These are the contexts in which we are studying. We are also studying in specific context of the neighborhood, strategic autonomy, right? Various issues of our own global presence, right? So you have to point, and imports, curbing imports, restricting imports, defense manufacturing in India, make in India, indigenous manufacturing, Atmanirbhar Bharat. So these are the contexts in which we are understanding this. This is the certain data that we have in that relevance. What is holding us back? What is holding us back? We studied quite a few reasons. What is holding us back? We do not have that capacity. The research expenditure itself in India is hardly meager 1% of the GDP itself. So how are we looking at research expenditure on defense, right? What about defense budget? What about the defense budget specifically for naval, our Navy, Indian Navy? So there are various things that hold us back. You have to got to put 5-6 pointers along with examples. You've got to put 5-6 pointers on what is the context in which we are modernizing our military and some of the initiatives by the government, right? So this is how in totality we will understand military modernization. Do remember the theatre commands, integrated theatre commands, very important because of this particular news right now. So in some of the other contexts, military modernization will come, and though the news is only about 7,000 crores, government spending of 7,000 crores, but in this context, we should understand the complete scenario that India is going to present for its defense future, right? So when we look at the question says the developments in India's immediate neighborhood and changing geopolitics over the past decade have created a widely sensed need for rapid modernization, okay, of Indian armed forces. Justify the statement with suitable examples. So developments in India immediate neighborhood, all right, and changing geopolitics. So let me remove this. Developments in immediate neighborhood, this is first key phrase. Changing geopolitics is the second key phrase. have created a wide sense need for need. Wide sense need is the third keyword. What is the need for now? This is the question. Justify the statement. We have to justify every time that there is a need, and because of immediate neighborhood and geopolitics in the past. So immediate neighborhood, what has changed? Afghanistan, this is one important development. China, another important development, right? The turmoils in countries like Maldives, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, another important development. See, three immediate context neighbors, right? This is the first part served, and then I'm only not served, just naming these three, immediate neighborhood. Changing geopolitics over the past. Now, changing geopolitics over the past, America's movement from Afghanistan towards Asia Pacific region, right? This is one geopolitics. Russia's increased participation in the neighborhood, China's increased presence in the neighborhood. These are the kind of geopolitics you could link it with. Certain examples, you can have more of them as well. But this is only the initial part of the answer, right? We have to justify the statement every time that this is the right time. Because Afghanistan has happened, we need to modernize. And what about Pakistan, dear? Pakistan is the one which is playing the game. So, because Pakistan has happened, therefore we need right now. Because China has happened, it is the need. And we have also to talk about in the new developments, scientific and technological developments. This becomes very critical because the new warfare may not be the traditional warfare. So because of S&T, we need to develop. So you will have to focus on the renewed, sense of urgency for military modernization in these contexts. Some of these examples, and these examples may not be all of them, but they will definitely provide variety of inputs in the exam. You will have data points, you will have case studies, you will have analysis, you will have examples, and you will have the keywords. There is your answer. All you need to do is in 7-8 minutes, you need to put this in the right way. And this is where practice will pay you very well, right? So let me look at something that you people have said. Good evening, Sangeeta. Good evening to you. If there is, this is where we come to the conclusion of this conversation. You like this initiative. I'm waiting for your likes and thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel so that you receive timely updates on these kind of videos. We will, this is Friday evening, so we will see you again Monday evening. I will miss you all till that time. We will have interesting articles come up, and I have got a plan for two things. One, for the current affairs discussion. I will also include certain important articles from the newspaper itself, and Gazette will be a part of it. You will enjoy it even more in the smaller discussions. I will make it even more pointed, right? We will not have conversations that are about building stories. We might have them for you to understand the context, but the prime agenda is for you to take away something that you will not forget. That's something that will fetch you more marks. So we will do those focus things right from Monday, right? So I will see you guys on Monday. And if there are anything that you want to share, do put in your comments, remarks, so that we make the amends, so that we keep serving you all, right? So till then, prepare notes on Saturday, enjoy Sunday. Thank you, Sangeeta. Thank you, Preeti. Thank you, Amlan. Thank you, Ashish. I will see you all on Monday itself, right? Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you. Thank you, Netra.